Hi, my husband's here.
Cringe, Kinsey, as if the whole episode couldn't get a lot worse, then Prince Harry has to even phone in.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are living separate lives as the mean girl Meghan exposed once more during her Sunday appearance on MasterChef.
Welcome. Do we call you Duchess? Oh, call me Meghan.
Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves.
4 semi-finalists walked into the MasterChef Australia kitchen believing the biggest moment of their season was finally here. Then, Meghan Markle arrived. The cameras shifted, the royal music started, and suddenly the food competition became a Sussex television special.
Nothing but drama and toxicity follows this woman everywhere.
But even Meghan could not hold the spotlight for the full episode. Because right in the middle of judging a contestant's deeply personal dish, the studio announced that a phone call had come through. The tasting stopped, the judges turned. Meghan smiled toward the side of the set, and Prince Harry appeared on FaceTime.
Sorry to interrupt. We've had a phone call to studio.
Hi, my love.
The call was presented as a surprise, yet the timing was so perfect, the camera coverage was so ready, and the entire interruption was handled so smoothly that even Australian morning television mocked it.
No way! Let's go live to Reed Butler in LA. Reed, just how on earth did this happen?
I know, what a coincidence, right? Thank goodness the team at MasterChef were filming for that totally random and natural, unscripted moment when Harry called Meghan.
The Today Show reporter sarcastically thanked the MasterChef team for filming that completely random, natural, and unscripted moment. That was the real headline. Not the carrots, not the celeriac, not Meghan's flour sprinkles. Harry's unexpected cameo swallowed the episode, stole attention from the contestants, and turned what should have been a tense semi-final challenge into another carefully packaged look inside the Sussex marriage.
Call me cynical, but I don't believe for a second that Prince Harry just happened to FaceTime Meghan Markle while the cameras were rolling. I think we've watched Meghan operate long enough to know that very little about the presentation of brand Meghan is accidental. She's a total control freak, if I'm being like the nicest way I could possibly say it.
And after all the buildup around Meghan becoming a serious food and lifestyle personality, the biggest moment of her MasterChef appearance did not belong to her cooking knowledge. It belonged to her husband.
That gives producers a cute television moment, but more importantly, it reminds everybody why Meghan is ultimately there in the first place, because of who she married. Otherwise, what qualifies her to be on that show in that position?
The episode opened with the kind of introduction normally reserved for a world-famous chef. The judges told the Final Four that a global icon, humanitarian, and woman known around the world was about to enter the kitchen. The contestants looked stunned. The doors opened. Meghan walked in dressed in black as the studio erupted.
Well, hello. I told you wouldn't forget this.
Then came the first contradiction. One judge asked whether they should call her Duchess. Meghan immediately replied that they should simply call her Meghan.
Welcome. Do we call you Duchess? Oh, call me Meghan.
It was the casual, approachable answer she clearly wanted viewers to hear. No ceremony, no distance. Just Meghan, the relaxed California cook who grows vegetables, loves fresh produce, and believes food connects people. But seconds later, the entire challenge was framed around her royal title.
This Meghan Markle MasterChef monstrosity.
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple printable and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story.
The contestants were not asked to create a dish for Meghan. They were asked to create a dish fit for a duchess. So which version was the show selling? The ordinary woman who wanted no formality, or the royal guest whose title was the entire reason the challenge existed? The answer became obvious very quickly. Meghan may have said, "Call me Meghan," but the episode sold the duchess from beginning to end.
Food and cooking to me is really a love language. I think it's such a great way to connect. It's something that can feel sentimental and meaningful, and it's how I show my nurturing and love for my friends, family, and my kids.
She's not doing this for the money. Don't even suggest it, Tash. She's not doing this for the money. She's doing this because it is her love language, okay?
The long introduction, the red carpet treatment, the contestants staring in disbelief, the repeated references to her title, and the challenge itself all depended on the royal connection she supposedly wanted played down. That tension matters because reports before the broadcast claimed Meghan's team had been unhappy when Judge Po Ling Yeo used the word royalty in promotional material.
She is just nails down a chalkboard for me because there's nothing about her that's real. Every time you see her do a speech, every time you see an appearance from her, she's a completely different personality.
Meghan's side later disputed any major conflict and insisted she had a wonderful time with the judges and contestants. The finished episode showed nothing close to an open fight. Everyone smiled, everyone hugged, everyone praised Meghan. Po appeared warm and professional, but it also made the earlier controversy look even stranger.
Source claimed that there were moments from filming that won't be aired due to Yao and Markle's personality differences. Po is full of energy. She's always joking and lifting the mood. She tried to bring that same spark with Meghan, cracking a few playful lines. But not all of it landed as intended.
The show could call the challenge a dish fit for a duchess. It could introduce Meghan with her full title. It could build the entire episode around royal excitement. Yet one casual use of the word royalty allegedly became a protocol problem. That is not simplicity. That is image management with a rule book nobody else can see.
Because if they have to edit the hell out of a show because of personality mismatch, things are not good.
Once the cooking started, Meghan leaned heavily into the identity she has been building through with Love, Meghan, and her lifestyle brand. She described herself as a California girl who prefers lighter food, citrus, grilled fish, herbs, and fresh seasonal ingredients. She spoke about farm-to-table cooking, meaningful memories, family traditions, and food as a love language.
I'm really excited. It's my love language. Oh God, it's so vomit-inducing. I've never known anybody to be so fake.
It sounded polished. It sounded warm. It sounded exactly like a lifestyle show voiceover. But this was not a garden lunch filmed in soft sunlight. These contestants were fighting for immunity and a place in the final stretch of the competition. They needed clear direction, sharp feedback, and useful culinary judgment. Meghan mostly gave them slogans.
She's not engaged in cooking, and she's trying so exceptionally hard that it could not look more forced. Meghan Markle needs to give up on this dream on somehow having a chef career or something and try to do something that's a little bit more in her wheelhouse.
Cook from the heart. Have fun. Find a personal connection. Tell a story through the food. Make it meaningful. Those lines are perfect for an Instagram caption. They are less useful when 4 nervous cooks are standing under a clock trying to balance flavor, texture, technique, and presentation. Even when Meghan walked between the benches, her comments remained broad and endlessly positive. She praised ideas, admired knife skills, reacted with amazement, and encouraged everyone to relax.
Meghan Markle's long-awaited appearance on MasterChef Australia has just been released ahead of its air date. And let me tell you this, it is just as nauseating and as diabolical as you can imagine.
At one point, she personally visited each station to announce that 30 minutes remained. That created 4 more Meghan moments, but it did not create much judging. Normally, one-time call to the room would do the job. Here, Meghan delivered the same message one contestant at a time, allowing the cameras to follow her across the kitchen as each person thanked her. It was less culinary authority and more celebrity choreography.
Terrible, inauthentic actress. Al, according to Taz, replied, mean girl energy.
The ingredient table told the same story. Meghan presented lemons, macadamia nuts, honey, strawberries, Brussels sprouts, and other seasonal produce. She pointed out that her household enjoys Brussels sprouts, and the comment instantly became one of the promo's most repeated lines. Not because it was useful, because it sounded like another carefully placed domestic detail. Before the full episode even aired, viewers were already mocking the promo. The edible flowers, the dramatic smiles, the love language speech, and the Brussels sprouts line became evidence for critics who believed Meghan was performing a food identity instead of demonstrating one.
In between your conversations about how bad your finances are, that's my love language, Harry. Look, this is going to be an absolute disaster.
The full episode did not completely silence that criticism. The result made the setup even more awkward. Meghan repeatedly emphasized nostalgia, heritage, and ingredients carrying personal meaning. Yet the dish that secured immunity leaned on celeriac ice cream, a risky idea the contestant admitted he had not made before. It was creative, and the regular judges clearly respected the execution, but it also showed that the competition was still being decided by real culinary skill, not by Meghan's lifestyle language.
And this is just, I don't think really Meghan. I don't think she likes this. I don't think she enjoys any part of really being in the kitchen much. And she tries to sell this so incredibly badly, and it's just not working.
The contestant who followed her emotional brief most clearly did not automatically win. The person who took the strongest technical risk did. That is how MasterChef is supposed to work. Technique has to beat branding. Flavor has to beat a sentimental speech. But because the episode spent so much time presenting Meghan as the source of the challenge's wisdom, the regular judges ended up doing the serious culinary work while she supplied reaction shots and encouragement. She was the face of the episode, not the authority deciding it.
The narcissism and the lack of perspective from this woman is astounding. Let's not forget that Meghan Markle has a well-established track record of bullying.
She was enthusiastic. She was prepared for the cameras. She remembered names and spoke kindly to the contestants. But she still sounded more like the host of a branded lifestyle segment than a judge at the most important stage of a cooking competition. There is also a revealing contrast in the way Meghan described her food background. On MasterChef, she emphasized California produce, her mother's cooking, and an early appreciation for fresh farm-to-table food. In another program, she described growing up as a latchkey child, eating fast food and frozen television dinners before teaching herself how to cook.
And this is a woman that, turned around and said, actually, I'm too busy to cook, but I do really know how to make a takeaway look pretty. Let me guess, sprinkle some flower petals on it.
Those stories do not have to cancel each other out. A childhood can contain both home cooking and fast food. But Meghan repeatedly selects whichever version best supports the image she is selling in that moment. On one show, she is the self-taught child of convenience meals. On another, she is the California girl shaped from an early age by exceptional produce and a talented mother in the kitchen. The details change. The branding stays perfect. Then came the tasting. This should have been the moment when the contestants reclaimed the episode. Their dishes were finished. The clock was gone. The judges could finally focus on flavor, decisions, risks, and the personal stories Meghan had demanded.
I don't know why anyone would watch, and I guarantee you it's going to be an absolute ratings flop because Meghan is nasty.
One contestant, Aaron, had built his dish around memories of his grandmother. It was exactly the emotional connection Meghan said she wanted. The judges began tasting. The food was being discussed. The contestant's family story was at the center. And then the phone rang. A production voice interrupted to announce a call to the studio. Meghan turned toward the phone and greeted Harry with, "Hi, my love." The room cheered. She announced that her husband was there, introduced him to the judges, and showed him the contestants. Harry asked whether he had interrupted something. Yes, he had. They were literally in the middle of judging a semi-final dish.
Prince Harry has made an unexpected cameo on Australian television, video calling his wife Meghan midway through filming.
That single question exposed how ridiculous the timing was. If this was a private call, it could have waited. If it was an emergency, it would not have become a cheerful on-air conversation. If it was genuinely spontaneous, the production somehow had the phone ready, the cameras positioned, the sound clear, and the entire room prepared to stop. Maybe Harry did call unexpectedly. Nobody outside the production can prove otherwise. But it was edited and presented as a perfect television moment, and viewers are allowed to notice how convenient it looked. Even the Today Show Australia report treated the scene with open sarcasm. The reporter joked about the incredible coincidence that the MasterChef cameras happened to be filming when Harry called Meghan during the judging.
Why did you not prepare me for that jump scare?
Sorry.
I know. That was a lot of face. That was a lot of forehead from Prince Harry.
That was not a hostile royal commentator digging through old rumors. That was mainstream Australian television reacting to the footage itself. The call continued while the food waited. Meghan explained that the contestants had made impressive dishes. She showed Harry the room. They discussed a spicy sauce. She suggested it might be too hot for him. Harry apologized again, said everything was fine where he was, and signed off. The judges called him charming. The contestants looked starstruck. The mood changed completely. Aaron's dish had gone from a story about his grandmother to the background of a Sussex marriage moment. This is where the episode crossed the line from celebrity guest appearance into PR spectacle. Meghan had spent the challenge asking the cooks to tell their own stories.
Meghan Markle may have thought her appearance on Australian MasterChef would help, I guess, propel her image as a chef, and yet somehow the appearance has turned into master mess.
Yet, when one contestant finally delivered a genuine family story, the show interrupted it to broadcast hers. The contestant did nothing wrong. The dish did nothing wrong. The producers simply decided that Harry appearing on a screen was more valuable than the moment already happening in the kitchen. And they were probably correct about the attention. Within hours, headlines were not leading with the winning dish, the most impressive technique, or Meghan's strongest culinary observation. They were leading with Prince Harry's surprise call. The cameo instantly became the defining scene. That creates another brutal problem for Meghan's lifestyle reinvention. She arrived as the featured guest, the woman supposedly capable of commanding a major television appearance through her own food expertise, personality, and brand.
Will MasterChef get an Emmy for this as well? I don't know. We're about to find out.
But the moment that generated the most discussion required Harry. The second his face appeared, the room erupted. The judges leaned in. The contestants stared. News outlets clipped the exchange. Social media debated whether it was sweet or staged. Meghan's comments about carrots and pesto disappeared behind the prince on the phone. That is the trap she still cannot escape. She wants to be presented as an independent entrepreneur and media figure, but the royal connection remains the most commercially powerful part of every appearance. The show may celebrate her cooking philosophy, but the biggest reaction comes when the king's son enters the frame. Even the challenge itself proves it.
She's really bad at acting. And I find it fitting, the thumbnail they chose for this, because she's doing this. She's doing this. Like, the manic expression and the fakery there. You can feel it just in that expression. It's almost as if they are subtly shading her, which I think they are.
Meghan was not there because she had run a restaurant, won a cooking competition, trained under elite chefs, or published a major cookbook. She was there as the Duchess of Sussex with a Netflix lifestyle series. The title opened the door. Harry created the headline. Supporters will argue that the criticism is unfair because the contestants publicly praised her, and that point should not be ignored. Two finalists said Meghan was kind, genuine, confident on camera, interested in their cooking, and able to make them feel calmer. One said she spoke intelligently about food. Those are direct comments from people who were actually present, and they deserve more weight than anonymous speculation about every glance and facial expression. But their positive experience does not erase the production choices.
Just go with the flow. And Meghan can't do that. The moments that didn't work on camera were cut out in editing, which means there were probably a lot of them.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now let's get back to today's story.
Meghan could have been lovely to the contestants while the episode still over-promoted her. She could have made them comfortable while the editing turned them into supporting characters. Both things can be true. The problem was not that Meghan smiled at people or encouraged them. The problem was that the episode repeatedly demanded that viewers admire her. The introduction told them she was a global icon. The challenge told them she was a duchess. The contestants described her aura. The judges showered her with praise. Every comment was soft, glowing, and safe. Then, Harry appeared to complete the royal fantasy. A major review described the episode as a gush fest, and that is difficult to dispute. There was almost no edge, tension, or genuine disagreement around Meghan. The food competition became wrapped in layers of celebrity worship. Even the earlier Poe story now sits inside that perfectly controlled atmosphere.
And I don't feel good about it already. But yeah, she's just so unbelievably fake.
Anonymous reports claimed some jokes did not land, personality differences emerged, and awkward moments were removed in the edit. Meghan's side denied the darker interpretation and said the day had been joyful. The broadcast cannot settle that dispute because the broadcast is the edited product. What it does show is a version of the day where every rough edge has been polished away. Poe looks gracious. Meghan looks delighted. The contestants look overwhelmed with excitement. Nobody challenges her. Nobody gives her a difficult moment. Nobody appears frustrated. If uncomfortable footage existed, viewers never saw it. If the reports were exaggerated, the final cut gives no reason to believe them. Either way, the production delivered the safest possible Meghan Markle appearance. And somehow, it still produced backlash. Not because she screamed at a judge on camera, not because a contestant openly rejected her advice, not because the episode exposed some giant scandal. It backfired because the performance was too obvious.
Meghan Markle made one of the co-hosts cry over the use of the word royalty, which is utterly bizarre as Meghan is obsessed with her own title.
The casual Call Me Meghan act sat beside a challenge named after her title. The relaxed home cook gave broad motivational phrases at a high-pressure semi-final. The contestants were told to make their stories matter, only for Harry's call to hijack one of those stories. The woman presented as the star of the episode was then overshadowed by a man appearing on a phone. Every contradiction was visible without a single anonymous insider. That is what makes this worse than the pre-show rumors. Before the broadcast, Meghan's critics had to rely on reports about tears, awkward jokes, and edited scenes. After the broadcast, they no longer needed those claims. The episode supplied its own evidence of a tightly managed image campaign. Meghan wanted to look relatable, but the show treated her like royalty. She wanted to look like a serious food personality, but offered more emotion than expertise.
Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. The Sussex circus from Australia continues a few months later.
She wanted to center personal stories, but her husband's cameo interrupted a contestant's family moment. She wanted a major solo television appearance, but Harry walked away with the biggest headline. And now the question is not whether Meghan had a pleasant day in the MasterChef kitchen. She probably did. The contestants say she was kind. The judges smiled. The final edit was generous. The real question is whether this appearance convinced anyone that Meghan belongs at the center of a serious cooking competition. Because after all that buildup, the food was not what people remembered. They remembered the title. They remembered the forced praise. They remembered the surprise phone call. And they remembered how quickly 4 semi-finalists disappeared the second Prince Harry appeared on a screen. This was supposed to strengthen Meghan's food empire and prove that her lifestyle reinvention could work beyond Netflix and carefully controlled home entertaining. Instead, it exposed exactly what still powers the Sussex brand. Not recipes, not expertise, not flour sprinkles, royal access. And even when Meghan gets the entire kitchen built around her, Harry still has to call in and finish the show.